Chapter 2: Clues in the Shadows. The morning sun cast a golden hue over Hyderabad, but the city's beauty did little to ease the tension in Vikram's mind. He stood on the balcony of his modest apartment, the remnants of his half-smoked cigar in hand. The message from the puppeteer was clear: find the key where the rivers meet. It played on a loop in his head, refusing to offer any clarity. Inside, Bunty was sprawled on the couch, his fingers dancing across his phone screen as he navigated through various maps of Hyderabad. "Vikram, do you have any idea where the rivers meet around here?" he asked, his voice tinged with frustration. Vikram took a deep breath, crushing the cigar stub into an ashtray. "The Musi and Essi rivers intersect near an old part of the city," he said. "It's not a common meeting point, but it's significant." Bunty's eyes lit up with realization. "Of course, the confluence near the old Sultan Bazaar. But why there?" "Let's find out," Vikram replied, grabbing his coat. "Grab your stuff. We're heading out." As they navigated through the crowded streets of Hyderabad, Bunty couldn't help but hum a tune, his mind always partly occupied by his love for music. "You think this puppeteer guy has something against dolls specifically? Or is it just a way to mess with us?" "Could be a signature or a distraction," Vikram replied, his eyes scanning the passing buildings. "Either way, it's working." They arrived at the old Sultan Bazaar, a bustling market teeming with life. The mix of vibrant colors, the smell of street food, and the constant chatter created a sensory overload. Vikram and Bunty made their way through the crowd, heading towards the less frequented areas near the river confluence. "There," Vikram pointed to an old, partially collapsed building. "It's been abandoned for years." The structure looked ominous, with ivy crawling up its cracked walls and broken windows gaping like empty eye sockets. They approached cautiously, pushing open the creaking door. Inside, the air was thick with dust and the scent of decay. Old furniture lay scattered, covered in cobwebs. "Keep your eyes open," Vikram warned, his flashlight cutting through the gloom. As they ventured deeper into the building, they found more signs of recent activity. Footprints in the dust, a partially burnt-out candle, and scattered papers. On a decaying table in the center of the room lay another doll, perfectly intact and eerily lifelike. Bunty picked up the doll, turning it over in his hands. "This one's different," he noted. "No cracks, no damage, almost like it's new." Vikram examined the doll closely. "There's something inside it," he said, noticing a slight bulge beneath the doll's dress. He carefully pried it open, revealing a small, ornate key. "The key where the rivers meet," Bunty whispered. "But what does it open?" Before Vikram could respond, they heard a noise from behind, a faint creak of floorboards. Both men turned, their flashlights illuminating the source. A young boy, no older than 10, standing in the doorway, his eyes wide with fear. "Hey, it's okay," Bunty said softly, lowering his flashlight. "We're not going to hurt you." The boy hesitated, then stepped forward. "You're looking for the puppeteer, aren't you?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. Vikram exchanged a glance with Bunty. "How do you know about him?" he asked gently. The boy looked around nervously. He took my sister. I saw him bring her here. I tried to follow, but I got scared." "What's your name?" Bunty asked, kneeling to be at eye level with the boy. "Ravi," the boy replied. "Can you help me find her?" Vikram nodded. "We'll do everything we can, Ravi. Did you see where he went?" Ravi pointed to a trapdoor in the corner of the room. "He went down there." Vikram and Bunty approached the trapdoor, their hearts pounding. Vikram lifted it slowly, revealing a narrow staircase descending into darkness. The air from below was cold and musty, carrying with it an unsettling silence. "Stay here, Ravi," Vikram instructed. "We'll be back soon." They descended the stairs cautiously, the darkness swallowing them as they moved deeper into the underground passage. The walls were damp and covered in mold, and the floor was uneven, making their progress slow and treacherous. "Watch your step," Bunty whispered, his voice echoing off the walls. At the end of the passage, they found a heavy metal door. The key they had found fit perfectly into the lock, and with a groan of rusted hinges, the door swung open. Inside, they found a small, dimly lit room, filled with more dolls, each one meticulously arranged on shelves lining the walls. In the center of the room was a large wooden desk, cluttered with papers and photographs. Vikram's eyes widened as he recognized some of the faces in the photos, missing children, their eyes staring back at him from the glossy prints. "We need to take all of this," Vikram said, urgency in his voice. "This is evidence." Bunty nodded, already stuffing papers into his bag. "This guy is sick," he muttered. "We need to find him fast." As they gathered the documents, Vikram noticed a small, locked drawer in the desk. Using the same key, he opened it, revealing a single photograph, a man in a mask holding a broken doll. "This is him," Vikram said, showing the photo to Bunty. "This is the puppeteer." Before they could react, a faint beeping sound filled the room. Bunty looked around, panic rising. "Vikram, we need to get out of here now." They sprinted back up the stairs, the beeping growing louder. They grabbed Ravi and ran out of the building, just as a deafening explosion rocked the old structure, sending debris flying. Coughing and covered in dust, they stood up, checking each other for injuries. Ravi was shaken but unharmed. Bunty looked at Vikram, eyes wide with realization. "He knew we were coming. This was a trap." Vikram nodded grimly. "But now we have his face, and we know he's watching us." As they walked away from the smoldering ruins, a figure watched from the shadows, a sinister smile playing on his lips. The puppeteer's game was far from over, and Vikram and Bunty were now deeper in his web than ever before.